مساك الله بالخير جميعاً. When we think of brands like Nike, Apple, Disney, Google, these are all examples of brands that we immediately recognize whenever we see them. And their strong brand identity lead us to not hesitate in buying their products or donning their merchandise. With me on this panel are three individuals who are constantly pushing the envelope and not just creating aesthetically pleasing designs, but also creating brands across the region that showcase a strong sense of identity and community. Joining me are Dina Abulfaraj, partner at Twothirds, based in Jeddah and in Dubai, Yousef AlMeer, creative director of 3TM and 3Tone, and Shadan AlHamdan, the founder and creative director of studiosonder and sondergoods. Thank you guys for joining me today. Now, the one thing that I notice when looking through your portfolios and seeing all of your designs is I feel like you all take the time to make sure that everything stands out and fits the client that you're working with or the brand that you're working with. Walk me through the process and how do you make sure and constantly hit it out of the park when it comes to creating these designs or creating these strong brand identities? نبلش وياك يوسف.
Thank you for the question. Yeah, I think it's something that basically once we start, we have the brand guideline book, and we basically implement our own ideas and designs through those guidelines. And this is something that's very important. I think that the task or like the challenge is actually how much of your own design can you implement into these guidelines, and that's really the biggest challenge there. You know, at 3Tone, it was important for us to really express ourselves in a way where we wanted to highlight certain things that weren't taken, like other brands, they don't want to take a risk on doing something like that. So we wanted to go ahead and do that. And that's something that hopefully, you know, like other brands, they see and they're like, oh, we want something to do like that.
It's a good point you mentioned that, because not a lot of brands like to take risks. They'll be like, oh, that brand did that design or did that thing, we want to do similar like that. How do you convince them to like go with your ideas or do something that's out of the box?
I think that's something that's more with recent brands. That's not something that people, you know, from the older generations like to do, because it's something that they are not used to. And, you know, especially with the internet right now, it's something that's, you know, there's more acceptance towards riskier designs or riskier brands than there was before. And that's the thing that we wanted to do with 3Tone, is to put an example for other brands to follow.
Thank you. Dina, we'll go to you, and mashallah, like the portfolio and like the client list is endless with Twothirds. Like the one brand that stuck out to me when looking through your portfolio was Youth Hub in Abu Dhabi, because I used to go there on a daily basis. And what's funny was that the X that's used is now actually the logo of X on Twitter.
I know, I think a lawsuit is in order.
Yes.
لا بس thank you so much for having us and for الحضور اللي موجودين اليوم. I hope يكون البانel خفيف و beneficial to all. So I just want to step back a bit على the idea that a lot of people have when it comes to branding studios is the fact that we do amazing graphic work, which is great. It's a good part about it, and there is an aspect where we focus on the graphic, but a big portion of our efforts and our timelines go into the research of the project and of the client themselves. But you were asking how we create identities that resonate with the people. I think our approach to the research and strategizing and understanding why the client wants to create this brand and what he has to say. I mean, at the end of the day, every client that comes to us, there's something unique about them. Whether it's his story or the product he's offering, or it might even be the customer's experience that he wants to create. Whatever it is, it's our job through the research phase to pinpoint that and amplify it and then reiterate it through different touch points. فاحنا أول كنا نعطي في البروبوزل there was already applications خلينا نقول preset for every client. We no longer do that, and that's I think what shifted our approach to branding. That is that when the strategy phase is done, we define what are the touch points for our client to take and what applications we suggest for them. That creates a sense of customization for every single project that comes into the Two-Thirds office.
Right, thank you. Shadan, would you say like your strategy or your basically way of doing things is very similar to Yousef and the rest? Well,
thank you for having us. I'm excited to share the panel with Yousef and Dina. Two-Thirds بصراحة صدق يعني we all look up to them. يعني they've done amazing things. I want to also build up of things Dina mentioned. I think for every design studio, there are similarities in the way we approach things من ناحية الstages. A lot of people أنا أحس بالكويت الحين شوي قاعد يفهمون أهمية branding. لأن a few years back, when you look at the creative scene in Kuwait, people did not, let's say, appreciate branding or see the importance of brand identity and visual identity. They just thought that it was, oh, يلا بس logo. We still get emails to this day of like, عادي تسوون لنا logo, or like, there's a lot more that goes into it. There's like before starting the design phase, بالبداية هو لازم تقعد ويا الكلاينت. You have to understand why they're doing what they're doing, what their goal is, what their vision is. You have to go deep with them on a personal level. لأن okay, as much as we get client briefs that seem similar, for example, أحد يقدر يقول يبي branding for a cafe or a restaurant or a fashion brand or whatever it is, from the outside looking in, they may seem like they're all the same in terms of what they want, but once you get to know the client, brief them and ask them questions in depth, you'll realize that every project is يعني catered to what the client's end goal is. The way we approach things طبعا لازم الريسيرش phase هذا مهم يعني أكثر phase أنا أحس يطول. بعدين once the client you feel like you and the client are on the same page من ناحية okay where this is going, and then we go into the visual identity. Once that's solid, بعدين يدش آخر phase اللي هو البراند packaging itself, and it all depends on مو بس form بس functionality really is important. So
okay.
Yeah.
I want to shift back to Dina specifically when it comes to creating Arabic logos or Arabic designs and maintaining that Khaliji connection. And a good example of that was when you did the Arabic logo for Cartier. So how do you maintain the balance by creating like a unique Khaliji identity or Arabic identity while also trying to attract a larger global appeal?
So with the Cartier logo, it was a really exciting project to work on. It began again زي ما حعيد الجملة مرة كثير I think this panel with the research phase, and it was common knowledge that Cartier came to the region for pearl, especially Bahrain and Kuwait, and they had a lot of connections there. But from having that understanding of the cultural nuances, having the connections in the region and everything, we were able to actually communicate with those families, get pictures that haven't been archived by Cartier themselves, interview them, and through that we found out that Jacques Cartier, which was the grandson of the brand, was a very avid guest of the region, and he used to love the Arabic culture. Not only this hospitality aspect and the pearls and this and that, but he appreciated the art, the calligraphy. So we believed in taking that component and really magnifying it. And that we will not change the Arabic letter form to match the English. We will maintain its integrity. We will keep it very much nasakh with the help of يعني majority of the work was done in-house, but we did get consultations from calligraphers, font designers, to make sure that we are also respecting the rules of the Arabic language.
Yeah, if I may ask, how did the partnership come about? Like, did you approach them? Did they approach you?
They approached us. So a lot of our work, زي ما يقولوا باب النجار مخلوع. Honestly, when it comes to branding, marketing, and putting ourselves out there, we're not very active when it comes to that. A lot of the work that we get is word of mouth. Yeah, they came to us.
Okay, Yousef, I want to shift to you in regards to also Arabic, because based on like the portfolios I saw, you did a lot of like work with like Arabic designs as well, and I noticed that specifically with product design. So how did that go about, and how do you again strike the balance between making sure that it's something cool to wear, whether it be in Kuwait or barra, but also it's within the roots?
I think that's something. It's just very important, you know, and I love that you actually stuck with respecting the Arabic calligraphy, because it's something that's very, very important to our identity and us as an expression, you know. And to me, you know, Khaliji identity is something that's very, very important, because it's something that I feel like that's underrepresented in media today and the internet, and in general, especially type and the inclusion of the type in the logos also. Yeah, I think it's something that inspires me. It's something that that I draw a lot of inspiration from in terms of the visual identity. I'll give you an example. Right now, I'm working on a collection for three-tone, and it's inspired by growing up in Kuwait. Like football jerseys, especially like Kuwait, like Al-Muntakhab and certain clubs, and it used to be really, really cool to me, and that's something that isn't around anymore, and that's for good reason, I think, because the administrations, they don't really care about design anymore, and I want to do something about that, so I researched a lot about what makes each our country and the countries around us in the region stand out in terms of a visual identity, and I saw that there was a lot of similarities and also some differences. So I thought there was something there to express, and so I wanted to basically do a collection for the upcoming Kas al-Khalij, and I looked into the visual. Like ideas or like the visual language of each countries around the Khalij, and I saw there was a lot of similarities. Dalla, Sadu, the tents, the palm trees, all of that is the sugur. There's a lot of similarities in terms of like حتى the logos of الشعارات مالت الدول. I wanted to do something that basically I took the colors of each country من ناحية الدشداشة, and I implemented it on the actual like football jersey. So that's something that it's very unique to each design, but I also encapsulated a pattern that kind of brought it all together. And I think with that, because it's so unique, that makes it have a bigger appeal,
You already have your first customer here, I'll tell you that. Shifting back to Shadan in regards to, again, product design, how do you ultimately determine if something works, like whether it be a design or a logo, it works perfectly on like merchandise or any product, whether it be a t-shirt, hat, socks?
Okay, so some of you may know Studiosonder, which is the branding company that I'm a founder of, but another company that's the sister company to Studiosonder is sondergoods. So we basically specialize in lifestyle and stationery items, whether it's designed and created in-house or it's with collaborations with different companies. And so far we've collaborated with a Portuguese brand and a Korean brand and a brand in Georgia. We always try to determine whether something can be sold or not. It has to fulfill one of these things. So basically, we're either filling a gap in the market or trying to showcase creative talent or craftsmanship, whether it's local or it's international. And the third thing would be to make people's lives easier. So items like planners, organizers, notebooks, they're all daily essentials, but we look at each one of them and we focus on all the details because throughout the years, I love, honestly, whenever traveling, I love going to stationery stores, and I think my family and friends all know that about me, but to this day, I love looking at what's new, what can work. في أشياء وايد أشوفها abroad الكويتيين يمكن لما حين مو يعني they don't see it as an essential, but you slowly have to, let's say, build the demand for it or do it in a way where it's acceptable and wanted. We're slowly building up. The thing I love most about sondergoods and creating these products is بالنهاية a lot of them are collaborations. It really is a fun way to connect with different people abroad and in Kuwait to provide these like daily essentials through design.
Okay, I want to shift back to Dina and talk about a specific brand that is close to my heart specifically, and that's Baked, and how specifically you successfully, like it was successfully created a community. It's kind of like the show Cheers. Everyone go and everyone knows your name. So you go in, same faces, same, like they know your order, everything, and it goes back to the brand identity, and it goes back to the essence of it being all about the community and all about the people. How important is it for you to create a community when it comes to creating any brand?
Okay, so mashallah, now the market is super dynamic. There's a lot of brands out there. Without your community, without that sense of loyalty to your brand, it's not very sustainable. But when it comes to Baked, it's a very special case. Baked is, I would say, my husband's brand. And we took the same route that we take with every single brand, honestly, but it's special because it's an ongoing thing with it. We have first-hand decision-making when it comes to the community. And we always talk about how it started off because he wanted to create a life in Kuwait that he always yearned for outside, and he wanted to bring that space here. He didn't want to have to travel to experience that. But he sees Baked as the platform where he can create that. People think because I'm a partner at Twothirds that I have a big say at Baked. I actually don't. It's all his creativity, and we just make it come to life through design, basically. So the ideas, the community, the sense of belonging is Ahmed and his team, Miriam, his sister, and the rest of While I'm Baked, basically.
Yeah, no, While I'm Baked, what Ahmed and the team has done is absolutely fantastic. يعني again, loyal customer. فما يبي. I want to shift from like the achievements to the challenges. As with any endeavor, whether it be creative, tech, or whatever, there's always challenges and there's always lessons learned, whether it be from the beginning or all the way up until recently. Yousef, I want to start with you. What are the challenges that you faced in starting 3TM and 3Tone? What are the lessons that you learned? And any advice that you'd like to share for someone that wants to get into this creative practice?
Yes, so 3Tone, we saw this gap in the market for a brand that has like really good quality with really good designs that really capture and reflect like the expression of the culture right now and the youth. And that's something that we wanted to highlight with 3Tone, and that's one of the like the biggest challenges I think is because like there's this barrier that I still don't think is fully down yet, which is that local brands can be as good, if not better than global brands, and that's something that I feel like we've yet to really understand, because I think that there's a lot of people that really don't know how to appreciate local art as much as international or like global art. And I think that's a problem, because in that we actually lose our cultural identity, and we lose our we're constantly kind of like starting again and again, because we don't have this connection to our heritage, and I think that's very, very important, as as artists and as creators, to really keep in mind. And right now we started with 3TM, which is like a B2B subsidiary of Three-Tone Merchandising, basically. And
I think you guys started like with Khaleejesque,
yes,
like with these notebooks specifically.
Yes, so the merchandise for Kilmitain, this Kilmitain was done with the 3TM, and I think basically what we're doing is we're kind of we're trying to bring like good quality designs and good quality goods to local businesses that can reflect a sense of identity that really can help people connect with them more than the actual product or service. And we think that's something that's very important, because hiring companies outside of Kuwait, especially for merchandising, you're not going to get that edge where you get the expression and the connection to the people. Because we're from here, we're from the region, we understand what the people want, what the people like. That's something that's very important, I think, when you're a business or you're a brand and you want to connect with your fan base. So we're starting 3TM with my business partner Ahmed Husseini and Hamad Abdul Salam. And I think it's something that it's important for us to really give the brands an extension, to their loyal fan base.
Dina, Shadan, do you have anything to add?
Sorry, what was the question again?
Specifically challenges that you faced while working at Two-Thirds, whether it be from the beginning or recently, or any advice you'd like to share?
For sure. I think when you're working in such an amazing industry like creative, and you're always challenged day in, day out, as a business owner, you tend to kind of forget to work on the business. And this is something that recently I've shifted my mindset completely. But there's been a lot of system architecture going on, and that's helped me kind of spend more time on the things that I love and less time on tedious stuff. I think that was the most, when it comes to setting up the business, that was one of the things. And then the other, obviously, something important to us is that when a client comes to us, branding is not a one-time exercise. So they don't just come, they have a brand, and then you succeed. That's not how it happens. A brand is an organic thing that grows. It needs to expand with the time. You need to kind of maneuver your way around different situations. So what we do now is basically we stop doing a brand guideline, and we do a brand playbook, which is basically helping our clients make their own visuals as they go along in different situations. And that's been really helpful for them, and that's why there's a lot of success stories that we're proud of.
I just want to say that's really cool.
Thank you.
I've never heard of that, but that's, that allows the brand to really grow
Exactly.
visually, and, in the sense of like, if they want to, reach out beyond just their products and services, they can do that because they have this playroom.
Exactly, and they kind of can take it without coming back to us, They take it and they run with it. It grows and grows and grows.
Wow.
Okay. Shadan, do you have anything to add?
مثل ما دينا قالت, I think it all starts with just awareness and teaching your clients all these tools. لأن brands do grow, and like a lot of people want to approach you for a specific style, and you try to convince them and okay, هذه هبة ترى هبة وبتروح. Let's try to help you build a brand that can adapt and like become a timeless brand. But other than that, I would say the biggest challenge of all is as a creative, I feel like the balance between the business side and the creative side is very challenging, because sometimes you just want to create, but that's not the reality of a design studio. You do as much as you don't want to look at the business side. It's not a thing you would want to do, it really is important. Or I think this is the part that's draining the most, because sometimes you feel like the business side will just suck the creative juices out of you, or you just have to learn how to balance and lean on others, whether it's other designers or friends and family, getting advice from people that are more like يعني they're experts أكثر من هالناحية. Yeah, I think بعد another challenge is starting off with small brands, and then when bigger brands approach you, شوي you get I don't think this is just a challenge for design studios, but any freelancer, شوي you get imposter syndrome, and are they really talking to me? يعني ما أدري أحس إنه خل حتى يكلمونا. You start to doubt yourself, but I think you just have to push through. You have to believe in yourself. You have to keep going forward. And the more you design, the more you gain experience, the more you practice, you learn things along the way. Yeah, it gets easier. But
on imposter syndrome, actually, during the creative solopreneurship panel yesterday, Noor Al-Raghib said something really interesting about imposter syndrome and how she doesn't believe in it. Specifically, she says, if they're calling you and if they're asking you and hiring you, then you've done enough. You don't need to question yourself, you just go for it.
Exactly. But this is our brain playing a trick on us. And you start to doubt yourself, but you remind yourself, well, they approached me for a reason. They want my specific style, or maybe they want just me as a person. يعني they want my area of expertise, or just how I view the market. You just have to ignore it every single time, honestly.
Yeah. Before we shift to the audience for questions, I just want to do a bit of an exercise, and I want to go around and ask you all, aside from your own brands, what would you say is your favorite brand, locally or internationally?
I love that you asked that question, because I was just about to highlight some artists that I really love. One of them is Shadan AlHamdan, who works at Khamza. I don't know if he's here or not, but yeah, he's amazing, mashallah alayh. He has a great talent in really capturing a moment in time and culture. Also Faisal Alfuhaid, who is a graphic design professor now at AIU. I worked with both of them also, and I had the pleasure of doing that. And Hassan Jafar, who has a brand called Moderator, and it's a small brand, but they started in the UK, but it has a very strong Kuwaiti identity that I really love. Yeah, those are the artists that I really, I think capture the moment in time that we're in very, very in a very unique way and very skilled way.
Dina?
Can you hear me? Okay. So I'm going to give an array of different brands. كل واحدة بصوب. One is Oilily. It's a brand based in the Netherlands. It's a retail brand for kids and adults. Super colorful patterns. It's crazy. It's my alter ego, basically. And then we have Mirzam, based in the UAE. It's a chocolate brand, and just everything about them is amazing. The way they position themselves, their storytelling, their craftsmanship, and the product itself stands. They have all the components. And then in Kuwait, anything Basit Salim does is just beyond belief for me. I love how he touches consistency, quality, experience every single time. These are the three, I would say.
Shadan.
Okay, so wide different industries, but one of my favorite brands, let's say for stationery, is Penco, based in Japan. Honestly, their minimalism and quality of products is amazing. And I hope one day sondergoods could be like Penco. Another one is I love MoMA بصراحة. They're not just a museum, they have a stationery and lifestyle concept store. They do a bunch of collaborations. I really love that store. In Kuwait, shout out to my brother-in-law, بس المكان's whole every single concept they do amazing. From يعني they really pay attention to branding. Even يعني branding مو بس كايدنتيتي بس even when it comes down to the interior of the place. So I really admire these types of brands. حتى baked يعني honestly they're doing a lot. They're doing a lot. So.
All right. Thank you guys so much for your inputs. Now we'll move over to the audience for questions. So if anyone has any questions, please feel free to raise your hand and someone will come with a mic. Oh, we have a bunch. Start at the back.
Hi, يعطيكم العافية. I just wanted to touch upon الدول المجاورة نفس مثلا دبي وقطر أو حتى شارجة. You see that the country as a whole or the city is kind of branded at a macro scheme. And seeing إن إحنا ككويت we're not there yet, I wanted to know what your opinion is from a design perspective and how I think the country as a whole values design versus not. So what are your thoughts on that?
Is that a generic for anyone?
Yes, for everyone.
Okay, I can start. So I wasn't living in Kuwait. I used to come here for the experiences, and I think as an outsider, I see things from fresh eyes that يمكن the locals don't see. There's honestly, I used to come for نقاط basically, the events that used to happen, and the sense of highlighting الثقافة, creativity, and the youth has been amazing. And you can see them in the smaller businesses as well, whether it's F&B or retail or you name it, حتى the gyms, honestly. Like, there's an attention to details في businesses that are created here that still don't exist in Dubai and Qatar and because they have a sense of locality to them, they have a sense of تحسيهم قريبين على القلب. From my point of view, there is this aspect. Can we grow? Yes, we can, and there's always room to improve, obviously. Yeah.
I think touching up on that point, the Kuwaitian, mashallah, they really are creative. يعني, whether it comes to like interior design or branding, حتى وايد من دول الخليج approach Kuwaitian for their expertise من هالناحية. فإحنا يمكن لأن everyone knows everyone وكل الconcepts نعرف بعض, we don't see it as a big scale type of thing. But what the locals are doing really is amazing. I think just يعني if we have a bigger platform, it would be big. بس لأن إحنا دولة شيء صغير.
I agree. I think the private sector, especially with the Kuwait, is amazing, and we have a great visual identity. And mashallah, I think that the Kuwaitiyin, we have يعني I'm biased, but عندنا أحسن ذوق يعني في الخليج.
I agree.
And I think that's something that the public sector has yet to catch up with, and that's, I think, where the city can be, because we do have great branding, we do have great creatives, we just need, like you said, a bigger platform.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll shift to the next person. Person that asked the question, by the way, Lolo Al-Ajil from Stairway Collective, they do amazing work as well. So thank you for that.
Hi, thank you guys for your insight. I just wanted to ask, you said that sometimes you just want to create and you have to steer the brands away from trends. How do you keep creativity up while also listening to budget and time restrictions?
Can you repeat the second half of the question, Noor?
How do you, I don't know what it was. How do you create with time restrictions and budget restrictions, but keeping your creativity up?
اوكي السؤال اتغير شوي بس اوكي بجاوب. I think a lot of the times you have to be realistic with your clients. You do share ideas with them on where this can go, بس حسيت I lost my train.
Honestly, for us, we're very transparent from the get-go. Our proposals are very detailed, and we put them like straightforward. If we agree, then it's our job as creatives to work creatively within a certain box. That's the beauty of working in this space, and not just like having free will to do anything you want. Parameters we need to abide with, and budget and time are two of those.
And I just want to add to that. I think that's where the importance of contracts come in. That I think, you know, just to avoid certain situations where one side is like dissatisfied, you know, the contract is like there's clear, expectations, boundaries, so that you don't overwork yourself or you don't do more than what you were hired to do.
إيه لأن مثل ما قلت بالبداية أن you just want to create بس at the same time you really do have to set boundaries or set contracts وكذي بس عادي sometimes you go into things with trial and error you'll know what your boundaries are, you'll know to communicate يعني and be fully transparent with the client من البداية just so that people don't overdo it and just ask for more or yeah.
I think we have time for one more question. Right. Okay, whoever is closest to the mic will get it.
My question will be in Arabic, if it's okay with you. كيف لشخص غير مصمم إنه يصمم لنقل لوجو؟ هلا في كتير تولز بتسهل عملية التصميم مثل الكانفا مثل كتير قصص تانية. كيف شخص ما مصمم يعمل identity لمشروع ما إذا هو he can't afford مصمم وتكون عينه حلوة خصوصا بمجال البراندنج وخصوصا إذا كان هو ماركتير وما مصمم بالأساس يعني منه دارس التصميم. شكرا.
Maybe job.
Okay. I think this is something يعني I would tell people is you have to invest in your brand's identity. Yes, you can create something on the spot, but it's not gonna go a long way. At some point, why يديونا ناس مثلا their business was functioning صار لهم 5 سنين يقولوا don't judge the logo ترى أنا مسويتها بكانفا بس أحتاج rebrand. Eventually they do need to keep up because it's a very competitive market. Investing in your brand من البداية I'd say is very important. وبعدين design studios وايد يختلفون من ناحية يعني how much you pay them وكذي فيعني depending on your budget صدق يعني there's a different range. But yeah, I'd say the identity really is important and it's a good investment. Yeah.
Okay, we'll have one more.
شنو أكثر شيء that inspires you اللي يطلع your creative juices؟
Yousef?
يعني for me it's you know popular culture بالخليج. يعني احنا عندنا something that's very unique to us, which is, you know, our music, our culture, our landmarks, our traditions. هذا شيء that's something that inspires me a lot. And أنا أحس إن it's underrepresented. And for me, it's such a cool thing that I want to bring into the world of design and creativity. I think Kuwait reached the peak in terms of design in the 60s, 70s, what I think, slowly it's coming back because of, the appreciation for local brands. I think that's something that also, with the recent, like the boycotts and stuff, like I'm happy to see that there is an acceptance for local brands. I think that's something that, is changing with the time that we're in, and I'm very excited about it.
Dina?
I'm going to answer to two things that inspire me. One, the change that's happening back home, Saudi. This excitement, this support that we're getting from the government and how they're working towards a new life, and these changes are happening day in, day out. That inspires me to kind of step up to that responsibility that we have now. And then the second part is I have a tendency to want to solve problems. فلما يجيني عميل ويبغى مثلا يبغى يكون a certain thing, that kind of the curiosity of how we can get him there or how we can position him in that way inspires me to do what I do, basically.
Shadan?
Okay, my husband asked the question. I think what inspires me is just the level of growth Kuwait is going at right now. Seeing all these people create these different concepts, and it's really healthy competition بصراحة. I feel like this is a good drive. وبعدين مثل ما Yousef I think mentioned earlier أن شوي you try to put in your own personality into whatever design brief or approach is. It's the things we see around us every day, whether it's going to exhibitions or galleries or different shops abroad وكذي. These things inspire us to create what we create يعني in our studios.
I think that's a good way to end it. Thank you all so much for your inputs. Thank you, audience, for the questions. And we'll end it there. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
شكرا لفيصل الفهيد ودينا أبولفرج ويوسف المير وشدن الحمدان على هذه الحلقة النقاشية الرائعة والمثمرة في صياغة الهوية من خلال التصميم.